Welcome back to Dat Build. Today I'm actually going to be doing a bit of a reversal on what I've actually previously done. I have given up with that pedal assembly for now. It is giving me absolute gripes, so I'm just going to leave it and move on with some other things, which means putting the front end back on, turning the whole thing around, and we're going to start working at the rear side. So engine removal, transmission removal, and then look at doing all that sort of thing. We want to get this pan down to its bare basics. So we're going to remove all of it off there eventually, and then we'll start cleaning that up. Again, still contemplating if I actually do get it, sandblasted and powder coated and all that sort of thing. I'm not really certain. I don't think I will, but it really depends on what else I find. I might find more nasties and it's just easier then. Well, that wasn't at all hard. Just a lot of back and forth with limited space I have. Anyway, so now we're going to, didn't notice that before. Anyway, yeah, pretty much now we're going to go about getting the engine removed, and I've never actually removed a Volkswagen engine before, so this will be a little interesting. I can't imagine it'd be too difficult. Everything's out of the way, so it's not like it's in an engine bay at least. I don't of course have an engine crane here, so I will of course be using my faithful crown, but I've still got to remove a fair bit in order to unbolt it and then get it supported. So that's going to be a job for tomorrow for me. So we are into next day now, and well, actually 2 days later. It was a public holiday yesterday, but I have a bit of a problem. I rethought things through, and instead of simply removing the engine from the transmission, then the transmission later thereon, I'm just going to do it all in one lump. So undo the actual drive shafts, remove the bolts that actually hold the engine and transmission to the frame, and then move it out of the way. However, the reason why I'm holding this little screwdriver here is because when I go to get an Allen key in there, or anything in there to actually remove the bolts, there is a lot of dirt, and I do mean a lot, which I'll take in and show you shortly, but that is just flowing out of there. So I've now got to spend time cleaning out every single one of these holes so I can then get an Allen key in there, undo the bolts, and then remove the drive shafts. It's going to be easier doing it this way because realistically, otherwise I've got to split the engine from the transmission and then sort the clutch out, reseating that later on and everything. I'm not at that point whereby removing that and inspecting any of that or anything like that basically. I'm going to leave that all assembled and pretty much run what I've brung. So that's going to be being used in the future. If it's cactus, when I actually go to test it, obviously I'll have to fix that. But in the meantime, I just want to leave that as is because it's not going to be staying long term anyway. This is a temporary up and runner, so it'll just be here to get the car moving initially, but then all that'll be going, transmission included. So I don't really see the need to fiddle about changing clutches or any of that sort of thing or inspecting any of that. It's going to be used, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, so what? For now though, I'm going to get stuck on with this. Hopefully now this should sort the problem. I've managed to get the Allen key into the bolt. It's well seated, just hide that. Very crudely going to use this method because I can't find an extension piece or anything else. Making do with what I have. So let's crack on. I haven't done this for so long, I'm forgetting which way to do it. And of course it is the morning, so I'm quite tired. Here we go. Let's see how badly this goes. Ooh. Oh geez, okay. Yep, here we go. There we go. Right. Excellent. Now I'm going to try and get these back out again. Yay. Righto, so I think we've got that loose. Problem is working on these damn boots. It's so annoying. Here we go. Yep, okay, so that's worked. Now to basically go right round, loosen every single one of them off, and then we can disconnect these and then crack on with the engine. I don't think I'm going to get this done this week. Oh, it's already Thursday, and oh, far out. Just tap it in. Freaking crude right now, very crude. Just waiting for this to pop out. Oh, there we go, another one done. Sweet. All right. I'll keep going with this. So we fast forwarded a bit now, and I'm at the point of more or less removing the engine from the chassis. I've disconnected near everything I can see and think of. Shifter linkage, the 2 bolts from the transmission side, the 2 engine mount bolts, which that's going to be an interesting one in the future. We'll get more to that. But what I'm going to do now is try and set this up so that I can put underneath some straps, and just got to figure out where exactly I can do this. So I'll kind of talk as I go and we'll see what we can figure out, if anything. So I've not done this, and ordinarily you just have an engine lift. I don't have an engine lift here. Engine crane, whatever you want to call it. So I'm improvising with a forklift, which is more than adequate. Ah, man. I suppose there's not a lot of access through certain areas, so I've got to try and finesse my way through. I didn't really need that after all. I put all these chunks of timber underneath in order to support the engine, and of course I had to jack the frame up, so now they're useless. Maybe they'll stop the transmission bottoming out, who knows. Here we go. Ow. Okay, so pull these through, nice and level. There we go. Right, okay, that's equal there. Sticking on everything. Engine. Now the engine's going to be lifting up first because it's wider compared to the transmission where the straps are closer together. So hopefully, and the problem is that realistically I'm lifting it from the most amount of the weight is going to be resting on the exhaust manifold, which isn't great. The engine's screwed anyway. Let's do it. Up and over. Got to try and support this. The reason why I'm doing the cardboard is so I don't completely oil up the straps here. I don't know if it's going to work entirely. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Okay, cool. Alright, so drive shaft's disconnected, 2 engine transmission bolts are disconnected, those have grinded off, shifter linkage, accelerator cable, clutch cable. I think we're good. So let's try it out. Do this. Okay, it's going to slide forward anyway again, so that's alright. And this. Jeez, this is just really sketchy right now. You know when you start doing something and you know it's just not going to end well? Yeah, this is one of those times. Okay, so that's fine. I'd love to make these shorter, but okay, if I maybe do this. Ugh. I don't know how much shorter that's made that, but I'm sure it's made some significant difference. I've got to do a bit of an angle. I have no idea if I'm even on camera right now. I've got to do a bit of an angle because this is kind of resting into the chassis itself. So I've got to angle it, which, I don't know. We'll just run with it and see what happens. Ugh. Let's just do it. Okay, transmission's taken slack by the seams of it. These, okay. Yep, that's adequate. Oh, one side's tighter than the other. So yeah, that transmission is already quite taut. The engine's still a ways to go. I was hoping to be the other way around. I can make it the other way around, but ooh. Okay, why did that happen? Strap there. Right, now, do we clear? Yes, we do. Okay. The back of the cardboard, funnily enough, was resting on or in between the cross member. So when you go to lift it up, of course, cardboard was kind of taking it. But I don't honestly think that was the problem. I don't know why that happened. I think it might be just to do with this. So try again. Make sure everything's sitting on kind of. Whoop. Yeah, okay, it's done it again. Why, oh why. Right, coming back to it. It was a relatively simple and stupid fault on my own. It was to do with the transmission being more taut. It was actually lifting up the transmission, and of course, because it's kind of coupled into the chassis, it was raising the whole chassis from that point. Nothing else was teetering. So I slackened these off a bit, moved the tine arms in, readjusted everything slightly. I've already lifted it off once just to ensure. Everything is now more or less at a point of simply coming away. So I'll just, here we go. What was that? Oh, okay. Engine mount's gone. Engine mount's gone? How does that work? Oh, because the bolts are, we'll get to that later. Come on. There we go. Right. So, final check. That's resting. That's off. That's off. Everything seems to be clear. Let's move back. Ha-ha! So we have the engine off finally. Wanted to get to this point in time for quite a while now, which is great. It's done now. Annoyingly, I've still got the issue of drive shafts and not easily being able to remove those, but I'm sure I'll figure something out. This thing is just coated in oil, as I could partly see beforehand, but getting it off and inspecting it more so, it's in a poor state. Well, we already knew that one, didn't we? I'm really not that worried because I am going to replace this engine anyway, so it's not like I'm relying on this thing to be in a decent order. I wasn't banking on it to be the moving force of the actual car itself, so it is simply there in the meantime for the foreseeable future to get it around, and we'll see if it even drives. I mean, we've got no compression whatsoever. I can't see this thing make any real horsepower to get up a small hill. Yeah, but anyway, that's a problem for future me. Have fun, future me. You're going to need it. Like that is. Anyway, so the engine's out. We have now a nice bare end on the chassis. I've still got a few bits and pieces to remove, obviously. This all needs to be cleaned off thoroughly. Again, still tossing up if I get it bead blasted, sand blasted, etc. and so on. Yeah, I mean, all the lines, all the hoses, all the brake cables, all that sort of thing's getting replaced. The rear end, I have managed to source a turbo rear end that I can bolt onto this thing. It is literally a bolt-on application. A few things you have to modify in order to make it work properly, but the key thing is though that the width will be pushed out, and I think from memory I'm going to gain about, I think it was 52 mil, which is enough. It's quite enough that I need in order to solve one problem in the future, and then at the same time just give me that nice bit of stance to the back, because this does have the flared arches. It is a wider rear end, so I do need to kind of fill that so it doesn't look stupid. It looked okay-ish before. It just looks better when it's filled out, and I'm sure we all know what that's about. So I will be doing that. Front end I was reasonably happy with. I wasn't too fussed about that, but again, these wheels, long story there. The engine is, again, resting on its exhaust manifolds. Nice and healthy for it. They don't seem to be deforming, but again, stuff does take a while and I'll probably crack something. Again, this engine is not staying. I'm not fussed. If it breaks something, it breaks something. So be it. I don't care. Moving forward now, basically it's more teardown, a little bit more teardown. I want to get this to a completely bare chassis. So I want to get it down to its bare essentials, floating frame and everything like that. The engine mounts, wow. So yeah, these were pancaked, absolutely pancaked. One's better than the other, as tends to be the case. So, bring it in for you. That was more or less what I was working with on either side, as you can see, pretty well crushed. And the annoying factor here that I only learned after trying to find out how to potentially remove these a bit easier was the fact that the bolts are actually coming through from the inside of the transmission. So, caught up with me yet? Yeah. So, that's pretty much it for today. Nice and dirty as always. Finally achieved something. I'm so happy about getting this off the actual chassis. That's great, that's it. Moving forward, onto that. Fix all the other issues along with trying to figure out that pedal assembly. That'll come, I'm going to do that right at the end. Screw that. Anyway guys, as always, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, etc. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbour that in order to tackle something, do it first, ask questions later, and then smack your head against the wall when you realise you could have done it so much more simpler. I'm sure I'm going to find out something really stupid soon with regards to what I've done here, but again, future me, enjoy that one. Until next time, guys, cheers.